Good evening, everybody. This is a really good problem to have. Our freezer is so full right now with the 2 new deer. Did I tell you guys that Peter got his very first buck just, I think it was about a week ago. Anyway, I had to actually take the new meat right off the top because I couldn't even grab, I just couldn't even move all of it to get to the last few pounds of hamburger from last year's deer. Welcome to my channel. I'm Jennifer. This is A Country Life, and tonight we are getting started here in the kitchen making a times 10 of my chili recipe. Yes, you heard that correctly. I am starting with 10 pounds of ground venison, and I'm going to put this into a Nesco. My roaster is not a Nesco. I used to have a Nesco until it burnt out at Amber's graduation party. Whatever brand mine is, I am going to, I think it's a 22 quart, and I am going to fill that with chili for the hunters for the weekend. And Warren and I were joking that on Saturday, when everyone comes in from the opening day, they can have tater tot casserole for supper and then chili for dessert, or they can have chili for supper with tater tot casserole for dessert. So anyway, that is how much chili I am getting going tonight. Well, everything that I need going for the chili is going, and now I'm going to be making some muffins. So we'll have a lot of hunters on Saturday morning here for breakfast. And so I'm going to make a double batch of the pumpkin chocolate chip muffins, and that is from cookbook number 1. And then out of cookbook 2, just in case that's what cookbook 2 looks like, I'm also going to make the cappuccino muffins. So first up, it's the pumpkin. I have 1 stick of butter in here. I'm going to cream that. I'm going to add in my honey. I'm going to add in a couple of eggs, and then I'm going to add in all my dry ingredients. I love this recipe because of the honey. There is something that just, it's like the honey almost gives these muffins a little bit of a tang or something like that. Just so good. I'm going to get the dry ingredients in now, which, since I'm doubling this, it's going to be 3 cups of flour, a tablespoon of baking powder, and 2 teaspoons of baking soda, a ½ teaspoon of salt. And then the recipe does call for cinnamon, ginger, and nutmeg. Now, if you don't make it a habit to keep all of those spices, then just add it up. So it would be like 1½ to 2¼ just do 2¼ teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. That will work just fine in this recipe. I do keep the individual spices, so I'm just going to do it like that, but make it easy on yourself and use pumpkin pie spice if that's what you have. milk. Shoot. So I'm moving on to the cappuccino muffins now, and I realized that I was out of milk, so I'm just using dry milk, 4 tablespoons plus almost a cup of water, and that's going to be as close to milk as we can, which is fine in muffins. You don't really notice that flavor when you're doing muffins. Whoa. What? This just is a lot of chili. I thought that I would need to do a times 10 to fit in here, but it is going to overflow. Well, it is 9 o'clock right now, and I've kind of been, I feel like I haven't been working overly efficiently tonight because a couple reasons. One, sometimes I want to film, but like we have the TV on or there's conversations going, and so then, you know, you have to like hit the mute or stop your conversation for a little bit so I can get some filming done. But anyway, and I just didn't do that. So a few things just kind of happened without me filming. And then the other thing is that the movie, I don't, it has that like Giselle is the character's name, Enchanted or something like that. Anyway, that was on. And so I was kind of watching that and trying to cook and bake and whatever at the same time. The cappuccino muffins are in, so it makes a pan of 12 and then 3 more. The chili is really, really coming along. I overestimated how much chili it was going to take to fill up this 22 quart roasting pan. So this whole second batch of noodles that I did, because I wanted to do, you know, 10 cups of noodles because I times the recipe by 10, I just didn't need to. So I really only have like 6 cups of noodles, 6 cups of the elbow macaroni in the chili. And now I just have to get in the tomato, no, I already put in the tomato soup. So here are all my jars from tomato juice and tomato soup. I used all my home canned things. You saw that I just did in the Instant Pot the kidney beans. Very, very easy to do. Rinse your kidney beans, you know, your dry beans. Rinse them a couple times, pick through, make sure that everything in there looks like what you want to eat. Sometimes there's like a stone or just like a bad looking kidney bean in there. And then also, okay, those are going to be just about ready to come out. And then I just dumped the kidney beans into the pressure cooker. I just filled it probably half full with water. I mean, enough to cover the kidney beans by a lot of water in there. And then I set it for 40 minutes, and I did it early enough so that I could let it just do a natural release, because if you've ever tried to do a quick release with beans, it makes a spitty mess all over the place and just a mess. So it's best to let it do a natural release. So that's what I did, natural release on those. I have my kidney beans in here, but now into the chili I just have to add chili powder, cumin, the beef soup base or beef bouillon cubes. I also need to put in there Worcestershire sauce and I think that's everything. I think that's it. Just those 4 things. Oh, and some ketchup. I like to add the ketchup. It just gives it some good, just good flavor. And then I usually do some salt and pepper as well. Now there is a cappuccino spread that you can make to go with these muffins, and I do think that I'm going to put that together tomorrow, but I am going to make that spread because it is so good. Since the kitchen is such a disaster right now, I didn't even have a place to balance my camera. Normally I will balance on top of the coffee pot, or I will balance on my little container, my like little pitcher back there, or on really anything, but I couldn't. So I didn't even get to show you me, like I was adding in all of the spices. So this was just a whole lot of chili powder and cumin and Worcestershire sauce, as well as some ketchup. And again, normally I would add some water to this to rinse that out and add it to the chili, but I really can't even do that because the chili is so full. Anyway, now it is just dishes time. Warren came over. That's very nice. He came over here out of the just because. So anyway, we are going to work on some dishes here. I'll help him stack. We're not going to dry a thing though. We're just going to stack it all, and what we get done at 10 is what we get done. The rest is just going to have to sit till the morning. Well, good morning. I can still say that because it is 10 to 12 right now, and somehow last night Warren and I say Warren and I, but all I really did was kind of like move a stool and make sure the door was open, but somehow he carried the 22 quarts of chili. We put it in our airlock. It was really cold last night. Got down to like 20, actually below 20. When we got up it was like 16 or something. Anyway, carried it out to the airlock, and which is just a space, like a gap between an outside door and an inside door, and it's not insulated or anything, so it's cold. He carried it out there without spilling, not one single drop, and you saw how full that was. It was all the way to the top. Anyway, here we are, and it is just about lunchtime, and I told you that this was going to be all about food. So I actually have some venison tenderloin there. I have some eggs going. I need to get some more eggs going because that's not going to be enough. I also have a sandwich over here. This will probably be for Joe. And I have some extra elbow macaroni there. So I'll have to see. Maybe maybe Peter or Maria, maybe Sam would like to have some of those just warmed up as some buttered noodles. I'm not sure. I'll also show you this mess over here, which actually bugs me because the kids just took off, but I'll pull them back and they will get this cleaned up. This is one of those treat boxes. It is called Try Treats. Okay, so the phone rang. I'm back now. That was Amber. She's wondering about what time coming out here and everything today because, you know, tomorrow's deer hunting. So anyway, here's the mess, but you kids are gonna have to pick this up, right? But the Try Treats box, this is from Peru this month. Every month it like comes packaged. You get a whole bunch of little treats with their flag sticker. You get a card. You get a postcard with a photo of something popular in that country with a little description, and then some fun facts about the country, a recipe that you could make. This is lomo saltado. It is a beef stir-fry Peruvian style, and then all kinds of snacks to try. And I have to tell you, this was actually a really good box. What did you think, Maria?
I thought it was great, especially these little...
What was the best?
I really like these little biscuit things. They kind of look like cinnamon
What is that word?
cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon? Cinnamon.
Cinnamon rolls. They kind of look like cinnamon rolls, and they're kind of pretty much just like crackers.
Yeah, they're just like a little crispy biscuit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were good. I thought this was good. This was called Sublime. It was like a really creamy milk chocolate with some salted peanuts.
I also thought this was good. What is it called?
Marachas?
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 Yeah, but they were really good. They were like 2 crackers with chocolate in the middle.
Is that the one that kind of tasted like graham crackers with chocolate? Was it that one?
That one was a different one.
That was a different one. I can't remember. Anyway, lots and lots of things that were just like crispy little cookies and chocolate, and they were delicious. As if 22 quarts of chili is not enough, I really just have it in my head that I also want to make some scalloped potatoes for supper tonight, and I thought that I would use this recipe. Usually my favorite recipe is a crock pot recipe. It calls for like cream of mushroom soup, and I just really like that one, but I am not able to use my crock pot right now just because it's too late in the day for that. So anyway, So anyway, what I'm going to work on is these scalloped potatoes here. It is from this, we've got hunters showing up. It's from this cookbook right here. So things are going to start to get loud. So I have about 3 tablespoons of butter, and I have some sliced onions. Okay, that didn't go real well. Oh, thank you, Joe. Good. Milk.
I got it.
So you know that I mention to you often when I'm canning to can your food, you know, preserve it in whatever size is best for your family. I guess even when grinding meat or whatever it is, put it into the right proportions. So here is my situation. Hello. Hello. Here's my situation. I have quarts of chicken stock and turkey stock down in the basement, but I don't need a quart. What I need is a cup. And so what I wish is that when I canned my stock, that I had stock in multiple sizes. I did all of it in quarts. I wish what I would have done, and I'm going to have to do this moving forward, is that I would have some quarts, have some pints, and even have some little small half pints, the 8 ounces, because oftentimes when I'm making something and I'm making a roux or something like that, I really just need a cup or 2. I rarely need 4 cups at a time. So anyway, just kind of a pointer for you. So now what I'm going to do is, since the butter is melted and the onions are sauteed and soft, I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. It calls for freshly minced garlic, but I just have this. It works. And then I'm also going to stir in a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of chicken stock, and I'm just going to make it out of this chicken bouillon seasoning, and then 2 cups of milk. And I'm going to, you know, I'm going to do what needs to be done to make it into a roux. I'm also going to add in 1½ teaspoons of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Garlic. So, where's my...
Right here.
Right here. Here we go. We're gonna let this cook. Just wait on the flour for a moment. We're gonna let this cook for 1 to 2 minutes. Just really until that garlic is nice and fragrant. Are you smelling garlic?
Yes.
I am too.
This one garlic too.
Sprinkle in the flour. This is 1/4 cup of flour.
1 cup of flour.
Sprinkle it in. Very good. Tap it on the side.
Hot.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. So we're going to put about a teaspoon or so. That looks good. Okay, you want to pour it in slowly. Just a second. Let me stir. Okay, you pour it in slowly. Little by little. Good, good. Okay, that's good. Stop for a moment. We want to stir it around so the flour doesn't get too lumpy.
Too lumpy.
They must be. Okay, now, do you see this number? Do you see that number 2? No, no. Just set it like that and lean down. Do you see that number 2?
Yes.
Pour milk.
And then number 2, milk.
Pour milk until it gets up to that number 2 line, okay?
Okay.
You gotta watch the line and make sure you don't go over.
Like,
and I'm gonna read
carefully?
the directions very carefully, yes. Up to the number 2 line. Are you watching where the number 2 is?
Yes.
It's right about here. Keep
Okay.
going, keep going. Stop. Okay.
Let's be milk.
You spilled some. Get the washcloth. I'm going to get the milk added in just a little at a time. I have my cutting board sitting here so I can set it on there. I'm making some scalloped potatoes for supper tonight. Just a little at a time. I'm also going to turn the heat up now as I'm pouring in the milk.
Mm-hmm. Sir.
Ma'am. Off camera, I added in 1.5 teaspoons of salt, a half teaspoon of black pepper, and just, I mean, can you see the little flecks in there? That's thyme. It called for 2 teaspoons of fresh thyme. I don't have that. I did have dried thyme leaves, and I just kind of put in a sprinkling. So I would say if I were to measure that, it was probably a dash to 1/8 of a teaspoon. I'm not a huge fan of thyme, and I'm already wondering if I overdid it just because I can really, really smell it. It's very, very fragrant. So anyway, it says that I should just bring this just to a simmer around the edges, and I can see some little bubbles forming around the edge, and it is starting to thicken just a little bit, but I feel like I want it just a tad bit thicker. So I'm going to cook it for another minute. I'm going to get these potatoes peeled, sliced into 1/8 inch thick slices, and then I'm going to put half of them in my casserole dish here, and then put some sauce over, put the other half, put more sauce. I just checked the scalloped potatoes at 30 minutes, which is what it called for, and it just seemed like it needed another 15 minutes before taking off the foil because it wasn't quite as bubbly as I thought it would be. So I thought I would make some cornflake clusters right now. So I have 1 cup of corn syrup and a cup of sugar, and I'm going to bring it to a boil. I'm just kind of waiting for the corn syrup to kind of all drip out of the bottle here. While that comes to a boil, I'm just going to measure out 1 cup. Honestly, I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to eyeball 1 cup of peanut butter, and I'll have that ready to go stir into the sugar mixture when that is done. I also have my cornflakes and my peanuts already measured, and I did grease the bowl. It just makes it stir a little bit easier. Not a little bit, but a lot easier. And so that's 5 cups of cornflakes, 1 cup of peanuts. Okay, the cornflakes box is telling us that gratitude helps you thrive. You guys know what gratitude is? Did everybody leave me? All right, that was another 15 minutes, and that is perfect. I could already tell before taking off the foil that it was time to take it off because I could hear it bubbling under the foil. So this is exactly what I want these potatoes to look like. I'm going to push this. Push, whatever. I'm going to push this back into the oven. Set my timer for 30 minutes. So I just took this out. The 30 minutes, the second 30 minutes was up, which actually was like had been an hour and 15 minutes total. And they're just not done yet. The recipe did call for it to go into a 9x13 pan, and this is a little bit smaller and deeper. Are you stealing?
Maybe.
I heard somebody steal a cornflake cluster. The casserole dish that I'm using is smaller and deeper, and so the potatoes were not fork tender, and the top was the perfect brown that I wanted. So I just put the foil over loosely and I put it back in the oven, keeping it at 400 degrees, and I'm going to let it go for another 15 minutes. It might even go 20 minutes, which will take it to 530. And then scalloped potatoes, you want to let those really cool for another 15 minutes. So it could be a while before we eat, but everybody's kind of getting here right now and just sort of unloading and getting their sleeping spots ready and stuff like that. So I think that's all going to be good.
Joe, don't worry about it.
here we are. It's 5 to 4 here on this Saturday, which is opening day of deer hunting. Finally actually doing something in the kitchen. Well, I guess I can look at you guys, but this is like Joe ran away and I had to wear a hat and whatever. Okay, so it's not the first thing that happened in the kitchen. Early this morning, 4 o'clock, Warren was like, I'm getting up to go start breakfast. So I got up at 4:15 and, we did like bacon and scrambled eggs and cheesy tater tots and stuff like that. But all day long, Emily and I have not been in the kitchen. And it's funny because Sparky called her from the stand and I don't know what he asked her, but she said, no, we haven't made anything.
You didn't ask. I was like, did you make anything today? No.
So
I brought a veggie tray. That's it.
Emily brought a veggie tray. Cold veggies on this day. It is 14 degrees right now. So anyway, that just kind of got me thinking, you know what, we should probably get some things going. She did carry in, so Emily carried in the chili. We made a good dent in the chili last night, but we have a lot left. So we're gonna have chili tonight, and then one of the other hunters, his wife sent along dinner rolls. So we're gonna do dinner rolls with that tonight, and then our cousin, he always brings tater tot casseroles, so he has those ready to go. And then Emily he always brings the cream of mushroom soup as well as evaporated milk. And we just make his style. I always salt and pepper it a little bit before we pour over the soup mixture. And then I have going a breakfast casserole. I really wanted to make the casserole that is in my second cookbook, but I didn't have enough croutons. I only had like a cup of croutons, and you really need a whole bag. So anyway, Emily just looked up some recipes and she found 2 recipes and we're combining them. So I have in here a pound of mild pork sausage that I'm browning up with 1 onion. And I'm going to taste a piece of the sausage here and see if I need to add some salt and pepper to it. And then over here I have 1 tube of crescent rolls pressed into this 9x13 pan. And then over here I have 12 eggs. I'm going to add about 1 cup of milk, I think. Do you remember what it called for? Was it 2 cups of milk? Oh, it was a lot of milk. It seemed almost too much. It seemed like a little too much to me. So I'm going to add 1 cup of milk to this, salt, pepper, and dry mustard, and then add the sausage and onion mixture into this. And then we're going to pour it all over the crescent roll crust here. I'm going to sprinkle some cheese on it, put foil. Well, I have a lid for this, and then I'm going to pop it in the fridge overnight. Tomorrow morning, we'll get it out. We'll bake it for probably about it's going to have to go about 45 minutes, and then we'll have breakfast. One of the recipes called to put the cheese on top, and the other one calls to mix it right into the cheese. So we're just going to mix it right in. I should have got it on camera, but what I did is I just put like 3 paper towels in my cast iron pan to soak up the grease. I just kind of tip it, soak up the grease. It works really, really well. I was watching a video, Julia Pacheco's, one of her videos, and she, I think, wrap the paper towel around a wooden spoon, and I thought, boy, is that a good idea? So anyway, I found that I like to just tilt my pan, lay the paper towels in there, and just soak it up that way. This smells really good. This is pork sausage from Pick and Save, which is like their Kroger brand. It smells really good. The opening deer season weekend is over. It was the weekend of does. There was not 1 buck shot this whole weekend, but I do believe 9, 10, 11, I do believe that with our whole hunting party out here that we did get 11 does. So it was a really, really good put the meat in the freezer kind of hunt. We have eaten down quite a bit on the chili. And I realized that I made that breakfast casserole on Saturday. Completely forgot to show you. But when there's like, I think we had 17 or 18 people here at, like 4:45 a.m. on Sunday for breakfast, I just forget to film. It gets busy, we get talking, we're making coffee and heating up chicken noodle soup and making hot chocolate and breakfast and people, and it just gets busy. That's it. So I forgot to show you, but it was delicious. So about 40 minutes at 350 degrees for that casserole. Like, I will write out what I did, how I made it, in the description box below for you guys. So if you are looking for a very simple breakfast casserole with no funny stuff in it or anything, this would be it. It was absolutely delicious. Everybody liked it, and the last couple pieces got eaten for supper last night.